Good evening. You're now with me, Radzi Ahmad. For TVS Nightline, we begin with this story. Canada has expressed its interest in exploring several key sectors in Sarawak, including energy, agriculture, and aerospace. During a courtesy call with the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Joritun Openg, High Commissioner of Canada to Malaysia, Jody Ray Robinson, says various innovation-based companies in Canada are ready to assist Sarawak in developing the aforementioned sectors prioritized by the region.
We have a lot of Canadian innovative companies and knowledge in terms of areas that are priorities for Sarawak, whether it's energy, agriculture, aerospace, which I understand is a new area as well for Sarawak. So we discussed about the energy grid that Sarawak has been working on. You're plentiful, you have a lot of energy, but it's always good to have maximization. So the digitization of an energy grid, how to ensure you have maximization of that grid to ensure the success of the future when you're delivering energy to neighboring countries, states, and just within Sarawak itself.
At the same time, Robinson commends the rapid development of Sarawak's agriculture and aerospace sectors and hopes that collaboration in these sectors could be realized in the near future. Prior, Abang Johari also received a courtesy call from Norway's ambassador to Malaysia, Marianne Fosland, flanked by Norway's delegation led by Knut Oyvind Granu, as well as Managing Director of DNV Malaysia, Sundiran Berhad, Dr. Mazlan Shah.
From the high-altitude reach of Israel's Arrow 3 interceptor to the hypersonic speed of Iran's Fatah 2 missile, the skies over the Middle East have become a lethal testing ground for the world's most advanced hardware. Tonight, RT correspondent Igor Piskunov explains the sophisticated hardware defining this conflict, from stealth fighters and hypersonic missiles to the hunter-killer drones patrolling the skies over the Persian Gulf.
Operation Roaring Lion, aka Epic Fury, not only put the age-old tensions between the U.S. and Iran front and center again, but also raised the question who, at the end of the day, has got what it takes to last the course. Israel doesn't shy away from proclaiming its military might over Iran. As the largest recipient of American foreign aid, it's used huge chunks of that money for defense and military purposes. That includes the F-16I Sufa, a modified variant of Fighting Falcon, uniquely tailored for the Israeli Air Force. IDF footage showed the jets armed with Rampage missiles ahead of the strikes on Iran. Israel also has in its arsenal the Arrow 3 missile defense system capable for intercepting targets outside the atmosphere. This means taking out medium and long-range ballistic missiles in space. And when it comes to air power, the pride of Israel is the Icebreaker, a high-precision, long-range cruise missile designed to strike sea and land targets. While it's not known how many of them are in the IDF's arsenal, it is known that they were used to slam into targets in Tehran. But of course, Israel is just one piece of the puzzle. Right alongside it is a literal brother-in-arms is the U.S., which has openly stated this is not a fair fight, nor will it ever be. That's according to the U.S. Secretary of War, who also proclaimed it won't be long until America and Israel have complete control over Iranian skies. To achieve that, Washington is counting on what it considers its military upper hand, starting with its Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, single-seat, single-engine, supersonic stealth strike fighters, a multi-role combat aircraft designed for both air superiority and strike missions. Alongside air power, Washington's deploying ground equipment too, such as rocket launchers. The most important being the HIMARS, or M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System. Operation Epic Fury has seen HIMARS used to fire precision strike missiles for the first time in combat. The U.S. also fired Tomahawk cruise missiles as part of its strikes, burning through what's said to be a limited stockpile. Tomahawks are cruise missiles with long range and precise targeting capabilities. As of early March 2026, the U.S. Air Force has also used UAVs, specifically MQ Reaper drones, also known by the name Predator B. They've been actively engaged in operations. Faced with missile attacks, Tehran, however, is not backing down, vowing that the death of the supreme leader will not be in vain. In response, Iran has launched a series of attacks on U.S. bases across the Middle East, proclaiming no leniency. One of the most powerful and important weapons in the Iranian arsenal is the F-5AG Tiger, a lightweight, multi-role fighter used for interception and ground attacks. But the pride of the Iranian military is its missiles. It's estimated that Tehran has more than any other country in the region, with numbers cited up to 3,000. One of those missiles is the Khaybar Shekhan-2, a medium-range ballistic missile with a maneuverable warhead designed to bypass defense systems. Iran also proudly showcases its Fatah and Fatah-2 hypersonic missiles. The use of the Fatah-2 to strike very high-value Israeli command infrastructure demonstrates the high levels of precision, particularly difficult for such high-speed weapons. And when it comes to Iranian drones, the spotlight is on the Gerbera, a reconnaissance and strike unmanned aerial vehicle. Designed for kamikaze missions, it has a range of 1,000 kilometers. How about these graphics, folks? It's all live, by the way, here at RT International and only on RT International.
Meanwhile, the escalating conflict in the Middle East involving Iran, the U.S., and Israel has the potential to affect the global economy, including Malaysia, particularly in terms of oil supply, inflationary pressure, and currency stability. According to economic analyst Professor Emeritus Dr. Zakaria Abdul Rashid, the current situation does not require panic among consumers. However, developments in the conflict need to be closely monitored as the situation in the region is changing rapidly. Reports about the conflict circulating on social media, he adds, can be misleading if not verified, and the public is advised not to be overly influenced by speculation that could trigger unnecessary concern.
Kebimbangan akan berlakunya inflasi itu memang real, iaitu bukan saja di Malaysia tetapi tekanan inflasi yang dipanggil sebagai cost push inflation ataupun yang disebabkan oleh peningkatan harga minyak. Harga minyak ini merupakan kos pengeluaran dalam kebanyakan barang-barang pengeluaran, dan ini melalui rantaian barang-barang yang kita gunakan di seluruh dunia ini. Tentang sekatan bekalan yang lebih ketat itu, saya rasa perkara itu memang boleh menjadi kenyataan, sebab apabila Teluk Hormuz disekat oleh pihak-pihak yang tertentu, dia akan memberikan impak kepada bekalan minyak dan juga aliran perkapalan daripada kawasan yang berperang itu dengan negara-negara yang berada di Asia Tenggara ini. Jadi saya rasa buat masa sekarang ini tidaklah perlu kita risau sangat. Namun demikian, kita perlu memantau perkara demikian.
If the situation persists, inflationary pressure could be felt through higher prices for food and essential goods, while typically affects lower-income households more significantly. However, he explains that Malaysia's inflation rate currently remains relatively under control compared with other countries, giving the domestic economy some room to absorb global price shocks. At the same time, he says the conflict could also place pressure on the ringgit following the strengthening of the US dollars. Rising oil prices usually prompt the US Federal Reserve to raise interest rates, which in turn strengthens the US dollar against other currencies.
Malaysia's anti-graft chief is facing his final days in office as pressure mounts on the Prime Minister to overhaul the agency's leadership. High-level sources confirm Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is set to drop Tan Sri Azam Baki when his contract expires on May 12. This follows a wave of allegations involving corporate extortion and a special committee report that has now reached the Public Service Department's disciplinary board. Now, all eyes are on the Attorney General's findings, which could end a controversial 4-year tenure that began long before the current administration took power.
The move to replace Azam Baki comes as discussions with the cabinet intensify, with insiders stating his tenure will not be extended for a 4th year. The decision follows reports by Bloomberg alleging the MACC was used to manipulate corporate figures, sparking protests and calls for suspension from within the Prime Minister's own coalition. The controversy deepened with claims that Azam breached shareholding rules for civil servants, specifically involving 17.7 million shares in Velocity Capital. Under a 2024 government circular, civil governments are prohibited from holding more than 100,000 ringgit in corporate capital. Chief Secretary Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar confirms that the special committee's report is now moving to the next stage of enforcement. Azam Baki has consistently denied any wrongdoing, maintaining the shares were disposed of last year and filing a 100 million ringgit lawsuit against Bloomberg. However, with high-profile lawmakers like former Minister Rafizi Ramli joining rallies against him, the Prime Minister appears ready to act as the May deadline approaches.
Gabungan Party Sarawak GPS Secretary General Dato Sri Alexander Nantalinggi vehemently denies a viral political claim linking the coalition to PAS, the Malaysian Islamic Party. Nanta categorically rejects the alleged statement as fake news, warning that the misleading graphic is designed to cause public confusion. He's also urging the public to stop sharing substantiated content and verify all political information.
The denial follows a viral poster suggesting GPS has no barrier to cooperating with PAS. Nanta clarified in a Facebook statement today that he never issued any remarks regarding such an alliance. The recently circulated graphic specifically linked the Kapit MP to potential collaboration with PAS, claiming the issue was never officially raised within GPS. Nanta is now calling for an end to the spread of fabricated information. The GPS leadership maintains that no such cooperation has been discussed, reaffirming the coalition's independent political stance.
In other news, 2 caregivers have been remanded for 7 days to assist in the investigation into the death of a 4-month-old baby boy, who is believed to have been abused at a childcare center on Monday. The remand order for the 2 22-year-old women was issued by Magistrate Roshayati Rodella at the Bukit Mertajam Magistrates Court until March 16.
The case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. Earlier, media reported that a 4-month-old baby, Hail Harith Muhammad Shafiz, died after he suspected of being abused while at a childcare center located within the hospital's Seberang Jaya compound in Bukit Mertajam. Meanwhile, at the Butterworth Sessions Court, 2 women, Nur Alia Nadira Che Hassan, 22, and Nurul Natasha Muhammad, 23, were among 8 individuals charged of being members of an organized crime group known as Geng Ade Labu Besar last year. They were charged together with Muhammad Samarin Sharom, age 35, Muhammad Aizat Rosmadi, 28, Aizal Abu Bakar, 23, Muhammad Zaini Yusuf, 27, Muhammad Azizi Abdul Ghaffar, 22, and Muhammad Fitri Abdul Karim, 31. All the accused not in understanding after the charges were read separately before Judge Roslan Hamid. However, no plea was recorded as the case falls under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The charges were framed under Section 130V(1) of the Penal Code. If convicted, they face a maximum sentence of 20 years imprisonment under the same section. The court did not grant bail, as bail can only be applied for in the High Court. It's set May 4th for case mention.
All right, get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news, and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Razi Ahmad. Thank you for watching and have a good night.